Is your garage, storage unit, or closet bursting with stuff that you no longer use or need? Well, it might be a good time right now to get rid of all those unwanted belongings and make some hard cash. Fox 29's common sense lawyer Shari Olefson joins us now with some tips on how to turn trash into cash. Not collectibles, but things around the house that you haven't touched for years can earn you some dough.
Exactly. And at a time when a lot of folks can really use a little bit of extra money. This tip actually came in from a viewer, so a shout out to thank Sarah in Port St. Lucie. Sarah had lost her home to a short sale, not lost it, she coordinated a short sale, and she was looking for a home to rent. The problem was her credit score had been hit and the landlord wanted an extra month's security deposit, which she just didn't have. So what she did is she looked around and she realized she did have it. It's just, it was tied up in the
hard
stuff
assets
around her house. Exactly, exactly. So the idea here is to take a look, decide how much money you really need to raise, and 3 considerations: what it is around your house that you can sell, what it's worth, and how you want to sell it.
All right, but I gotta ask you about the emotional part. How do you say, I gotta get rid of it, I don't need this anymore, when it's something you might be attached to, or it might be clothing that you say, but I've never worn it, or I'll wear it someday, or I'm gonna lose 10 pounds and wear it, or something like that?
Well, you know, if you have emotional attachment to things, you probably need to watch that show Hoarders, not our show, because that's not a good thing. But, you know, here's the thing. You look at the things around your home that are most common for other folks to buy and most commonly sold, okay? So we're not talking about old underwear or toothbrushes, because no one's going to buy that. But other types of clothing, particularly outerwear and particularly winter wear here in Florida that maybe your kids have outgrown, furniture and toys, books, sports equipment, electronics, and also small appliances are a biggie. Because the thing is, Roxanne, during the bubble, average Americans spent 120% of what they earned. And they spent that on stuff. So we've got a lot of stuff. You may have a juice maker you haven't used, a bread maker you haven't used, exercise equipment. Those are the things that are ideal to sell. Now here's what I do. I try to tie it to holidays when I have some spare time. So you look at me at my house, Thanksgiving, Christmas, summertime when my kids are out of town are the perfect times to go through. What I do is I put it out in a bag in my garage. And the next time I go and clean house, I look in the bag I put out the last time. If we haven't used it and no one's asked about it, because you know with kids, it's time to go. Maybe other people will develop their own methods, but that's what works for me.
All right, once you decide what you're going to sell, how do you know what it's worth?
Well, that's easy nowadays. You can either, if it's a less expensive item like clothes items, for example, the Salvation Army and Goodwill, you can go on their website and see what they rate these things for tax purposes in terms of cost, or you can just go on eBay if it's something more unique, maybe a little collector's, your beanie bags or beanie babies or something like that. So we do have access to information like that.
And a lot of those things we think are collectibles really aren't, because of the onset of eBay and all those sites now.
Right.
They aren't worth what they used to be. Right. Doesn't it cost money though when you want to advertise these things? I mean, you've got to factor all of that in to make sure it's worth it.
Right, and that really goes to the third consideration, which is how do you want to sell? And the most common ways to sell are, like you mentioned, the yard sales, classified ads, online, or by a consignment shop where you may be paying a little bit more in commission. And that's a function of how much time you want to invest, how much effort, and how quickly you need the money. So the yard sale, like you mentioned, is going to be the quickest. You'll probably get the lowest prices, but you're done. Putting things in a consignment shop, on the other hand, you may get higher prices, but it's going to take a long time.
Well, and you know what? Each of us knows someone who's made hundreds and hundreds of dollars, upwards of 1,000. So it does work if you take the time to go through and organize it.
And if you know, a little bit of money like that can really make a difference nowadays, like it did for Sarah with her security deposit. It may be paying off a credit card. These are things that can really make a difference, and you can always replace these things when things recover.
Thanks for your time, Shari. We appreciate it. Back to the anchor desk.